Now, there are many women out there that seem to be asking the same question, where are all the decent men? So if you're into that kind of conversation, stick around, because here we go. Now, there are many women across the Western world that watch a lot of rom-coms and are asking themselves why none of these magical moments have happened to them. Now, we could make the argument that life is simply not a fairy tale. And let's face it, rom-coms are grown-up fairy tales. But since the dawn of storytelling, literature, and now movies, men have been trying to live up to the expectations of what women really want. Make no mistake, these real-life romantic gestures are an example of life reflecting art and not the other way around. There is no real-life genetic code that inspires a man to open your door or pull out your chair for you. Trust me, ladies, there are many men out there that actually want to be this charismatic gentleman that you might have pictured in your own head. Chivalry isn't dead, but it may indeed be counting down to its final hour. So today on Politically Impaired, we're going to be counting down the top 5 killers of chivalry. Number 5, unrealistic expectations. Every person out there, not just women, have a very clear idea of what they want. We want someone healthy, well-established, independent, loving, and willing to play the game. What game, you ask? Come on, ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is an unspoken set of events and dialogue, like a Hollywood manuscript, that many women are just waiting to unfold in their regular life. Sadly, these type of women will probably never see their own rom-com play out in real life, because men simply can't read your mind.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
If you are one of these women, for your own sake, do yourself a favor and let it go. You don't need a damn script. Hollywood is fantasy, and the unspoken script that is embedded in your mind's eye doesn't belong to you. It never has. These stories are somebody else's journey, and you may find that if you let go of these ridiculous expectations, you might find your own. You might actually find out that finding the one doesn't happen the way that Hollywood might suggest. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes it does. But for the most part, finding that special someone is a matter of elimination based on realistic expectations. Budgeting falls under the same category. Many men that frequently date can't afford to spend hundreds of dollars every week to wine and dine a different date. So the next time a guy asks you out to coffee, perhaps give him a break. If you want someone that is responsible in his reality-based financial endeavors, then let this guy get to know you a little bit before he starts dropping the big bucks on the wine and dine experience. Number 4, friends. That's right, I said it. Many women out there have a shitty habit of letting their girlfriends decide what's right in their relationship. Now, every relationship is different, and these outsiders aren't there from a moment-to-moment basis like the two parties in question. Your man doesn't want to date you and your friend. Maybe he does, but not in the way that you would want. He is with you, and though venting and advice may be healthy amongst your besties, their outlook on your relationship should pale in comparison to your own. Remember, not every friend knows what the fuck they're talking about, or has your best interest at heart, no matter how much they may emphasize that they do. Also, consider the friend that's giving you the advice in the first place. Is life really working out so well for them? Perhaps you should be asking that question. Because if they can't get their own shit together, perhaps they're not exactly the most qualified person to be giving advice in the first place. Number 3, low expectations. Opposing number 5, we have the women out there that lack confidence and expect very little.
Oh, this is one fine day to be nude. Yeah, this is one fine day to be nude. The birds are saying Clinton have a wonderful spring, and people walking by can stop and look at my...
If you're settling for the old Netflix and chill routine, there's a good chance your man sees you as expendable. Netflix and chill is something you do, after a tough day at work, or perhaps on a rainy day, but definitely not a date. Your man may not be on the Fortune Top 100 list, but throwing together a few plates of spaghetti in a dining room candlelit atmosphere costs only a few bucks. Now, time equals money, and if he doesn't have the money, then, there's no fault there, and you really shouldn't look down on him if you are. He should be willing to invest some time and a little effort if he considers you worth it. So that's the question you really have to ask yourself. Are you worth it? Furthermore, taking a walk and picking flowers along a scenic trail can be more romantic than some wine and dine experience. So know what you're worth and expect nothing less, but don't be unrealistic either. Number 2, modern feminism. Now there was a time when mentioning that you were a feminist wasn't a deal breaker in potential relationships, but that time has died a slow and agonizing death with the rise of third wave feminism. Many men these days honestly don't know how to react when it comes to chivalry in 2018. Does pulling out their chair or opening the door for them suggest that women aren't powerful or strong enough to do it on their own? Are we taking something away from them? Am I demeaning her by picking up the bill? Does walking her to her front door suggest she needs a man to escort her to safety? She's being hassled by some creep on the dance floor. Do we step in and defend her? Or does that suggest that she's too weak to handle herself? Men hate drama and seek a simple, less complicated life. So expect any reasonable man to back away the second you mention the word feminism, as there are just way too many complications that come with dating a modern feminist. Back when the movement was about equal rights and not about taking away rights from men, this may not have made the list in the first place. Unfortunately, third wave feminism does play a hand in destroying your love life, ladies. Somewhere along the line, women decided they are right down the middle when it comes to chivalry versus feminism. You can't really deny that men sort of wash their hands of this kind of stuff. This is not exactly our fault. We've pulled the chairs out. We've opened the doors. We've brought you the flowers. We've taken you on dates. And in the end, where does it get us? To a strong and healthy relationship if you're not a feminist. That is the answer. Number 1, permission. Any decent man that was raised properly knows that no means no. So until men hear the word no, we automatically assume that the date is moving forward in relative harmony. But there are exceptions to that rule, don't get me wrong. Some women do freeze when some moves are overly aggressive. And decent men know that if she's pulling away, then the contact and move is not wanted, and that's when the contact should end. At least until she's comfortable moving forward.
Craig, can I touch your penis?
Okay, good. Now, Craig, you might say, you may touch my penis, I'm comfortable with that. Or, of course, you could say, no, you may not touch my penis at this time.
No, you may not.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Why do these unusual permission standards even exist in our youth today? For the same reason we put warning labels on curling irons that read for external use only. Think about that for a moment. For that warning to exist, someone had to have stuck a hot curling iron in one of their orifices and sued the damn company. What's next? Warning labels on cars saying not to drive into a crowd of people? If you're pulling away and saying no, then he obviously has an IQ of a fucking brick, or he's a creep. Either way, it's probably best that you not see that person anymore and lose their contact information immediately. Asking permission for every single move is an instant mood killer. You know that moment where everything comes to a halt and men have to fight with their erection to get the condom on? Guys know out there what I'm talking about. But we do it, and safety is the key. That's the important thing. So do you agree with this list? If not, if so, leave a comment below. Don't forget that I'm also very open to suggestions about future videos. If you're a fan of Politically Impaired, please consider donating to my Patreon account, which can be found in the link below. Add me on Twitter. Consider picking up my Politically Impaired mug. You can find the link in the description for that as well. I also have a hat that says Make America Sane Again, and phone cases and all that stuff. I'm also an author of the book of Neophyte. It's one of a 10-part series. You can find a link in the description below as well for that if you feel like, sitting down and having a good read. Now that's all I have for you right now. Don't forget to tune in next week where I will be discussing the Me Too movement. Very controversial, very interesting. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I'll see you next week, and thanks a lot for watching.